So guys, it's been a while, but I'm back. And you guys see what day it is. It's 1st of December. And I'm coming back with something that not many people are talking about on basketball YouTube. There's not that much online about him, not that many scouting reports. And this guy right here, I would go as far as to say, is the best 17-year-old basketball player on the planet, which he showed playing against guys 2 years older than him. Every single clip in this video is going to be of him at either 15 or 16, playing against guys at least 2 years older than him. And right now he is the youngest player on any college basketball roster, although he is an academic redshirt. This guy is going to be one of the most hyped up players in college basketball in a year's time. But again, there is nothing about this guy. I'm going to explain a little bit about that later. But this guy is the 6'10" monster, baby Shaq Oumar Ballo. Before we get onto the video, I'd just like to say we are doing a daily December. So if you guys like this content, subscribe. We're uploading one video every single day. I know you guys are probably wondering why I didn't upload that much this year and I'm just doing a daily December. Big reason is that we don't know, especially in Europe, how Article 13 is going to be implemented. And on January the 1st, it's hard to tell how these basketball-based channels are going to survive. So in the off chance that this channel does die on January the 1st because of the Article 13 law that's been pushed by the EU, I might as well upload as much videos as possible. So if you guys do like basketball content, subscribe. We will be uploading a video every single day. If we get it 110,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I'll be delighted. But if not, I'm still going to be getting 30 videos out. But anyway, now let's get on to it. So Oumar Ballo is a 17-year-old center from Mali. He's born in July 2002, so he's not even halfway to his 18th birthday. And as I said, he's the youngest player on any NCAA roster. He's currently in Gonzaga, where he's an academic redshirt. And even still, even with an entire year out, he will have just turned 18 by the time he starts playing college basketball. So he will still be really, really young as a freshman. He'd be a year younger than the youngest freshman if he was playing this year. So he's after breaking out completely over the summer in the FIBA Under-19 World Championship. But before that, he was the best player in Spain's underage system. He was the best player every year in the African Championships, underage, playing against kids 2 years older than him. And as you guys can see from the clips, he is no older than 16 years old. He's either 15 or 16 years old in every one of these clips. He is a man amongst boys, even playing against guys 2-3 years older than him, which he is in every one of these clips. But again, in the FIBA Under-19's World Cup, a big reason why it was such a breakout tournament for him was the team success as well as his individual success. Mali were the shock nation in that entire tournament, where they ended up reaching the final, giving Team USA a good game, where Ballo made the all-tournament 5, 2 years younger than every other player than the oldest players in the competition. And he did it by averaging 17.6 points, 11.8 rebounds, and also 3 blocks a game, while shooting 52% from the field and 71% from the free throw line, which is really good. That was just an unbelievable sum for him. So I'm going to be talking about his strengths first, and his first strength is obviously his strength. This is the closest thing we've probably seen to Shaq since Shaq in terms of sheer dominance against other people. Imagine, he's playing these guys 2 years older. Imagine him against his own age, how much this guy's going to dominate. And imagine how much he's going to dominate after a year of training with Gonzaga next year in the same championship. He is going to be even more physically dominant. He's a really good rim protector. He's also not too bad a playmaker. And that is a positive, especially for someone who is as physically dominant as he is. He's also got unbelievable post footwork. So even though he is extremely strong, he doesn't rely too heavily on his strength. While obviously it's a big factor in his game, he uses it to seal people off really well. His footwork's really good, so he can get that little bit of extra space. And he uses his unbelievable footwork as well as his strength to just get free so easily in the post. He's a guy who doesn't seem like he's doing anything spectacular, but is able to get whatever shot he wants most times. He's also really good at drawing fouls. He averaged 6.2 free throw attempts per game in under-19 play, and pretty much any time the ball goes inside to him, especially against smaller opposition, it's going to be either foul or he's going to score 2 points. just like it was something similar to Shaq, except he is a 71% free throw shooter, so he's a good free throw shooter. Weaknesses is his jump shot. While he actually has shown a little bit of range, especially in Spain, he didn't shoot any three-pointers in the other 19 World Championships, which is something that I don't know if it's worrying or not, because again, he was playing as an inside center and he was dominating inside, so he again wasn't needed to take threes, but it's something that I would like to see a little bit more, or we're going to need to see a little bit more of anyway, before we're going to start calling him a potential number 1 or even top 5 overall pick in the NBA draft in a couple of years. But either way, he still absolutely dominated even without a jump shot, and he did hit a couple of long mid-range shots, and his touch seems to be okay. In Spain, in under 18 play, when he was just killing everybody, he was hitting the odd three-point shot. His jumper doesn't look broken, can hit free throws, so he probably will be able to shoot a little bit at some stage. And also, it's kind of hard to tell about his defense. While he's really active on defense, blocks a ton of shots, he's also hasn't really shown an ability to really switch too much on players, and teams played a lot of kind of zone, made sure he stood in the middle to kind of hide him almost, or not even hide him, to just use his strengths, which is shot blocking on defense. Doesn't seem to have too many other weaknesses. Not the most vertical athlete, but he's so big, he's so strong, and he's got so much length with a 7'5" wingspan that I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And yeah, that's pretty much his only weaknesses. And we've been talking about his strengths, and now I'm going to be talking about what I believe he does way better than every other player in the world at his age, and that's rebound the ball. He was number 1 in rebounds against guys 2 years older than him, and he averaged over 5 offensive rebounds a game. That is crazy. 5.2 offensive boards a game. He's just in the right place, the right time, can use his strength, can bully people out of the way, and use a 7'5" wingspan to get a ton of boards. The amount of points he gets off putbacks is ridiculous as well. And this is a guy who I think does that at a higher level by far than any 17-year-old in the world. And you could actually argue that he's the best offensive rebounder. I don't mean actually no, he's the best young offensive rebounder outside the NBA. That is something I can say with confidence. And yeah, that is pretty much it for his strengths and weaknesses. So now I'm going to talk about some of the comparisons. So there was one major comparison, and it's one of those ones where I don't really like making this specific comparison. So a lot of people are comparing him to Shaq, and one, he's not as vertically athletic as Shaq. He doesn't jump as high, he doesn't run as fast up and down the court as Shaq did. While he's as close as we've seen to Shaq strength-wise, especially as a young player, it's hard to know how much he'll develop, and he doesn't seem to be as just pure dominant as Shaq. He's not going to be using his strength, just backing people down, dunking on everybody. While he obviously can do that, he tends to use his footwork quite a bit, finish well in the post. And while it is probably the closest comparison, I wouldn't go that far. He's not that physically crazy a prospect. He's not like Shaq. And I've seen a couple of people comparing him to Zion. That's just because he's just significantly bigger than everybody else. He's significantly stronger, and he's just a man amongst boys playing against players that aren't men. And do I think he's going to be Zion? Doesn't have the quickness, doesn't have the explosiveness, isn't going to dunk. So it's going to be hard to say if he is going to be that level of a prospect. But one thing's for sure, that he's going to be better than Eddie Curry, who is his other comparison. But yeah, so he's a really hard player to compare to anyone we've seen. From what I've seen, the footwork reminds me a little bits of Jahlil Okafor, but he's not as polished down there. But again, he is a guy who, without question, I think is going to be a first-round draft pick at some stage. So not next year, he'll be a first-round draft pick in 2021 after his first year in Gonzaga, where he's still going to be really young. And will he end up being the best player born in the year 2002, 5 years down the line? I don't know. It all depends on how his game translates, but I would say that's very unlikely. His floor is a really solid, strong, rim-protecting big in the NBA. And to be honest, those type of players can have 10-year careers for themselves. So saying a 17-year-old is a floor of that, I think, just shows how high I rate this player. And ceiling to be one of the most dominant players in the NBA. He's a guy who has all that potential. Will he do it? Who knows? He's a guy who we have yet to see against competition that's in any way physically close to him. Even playing against guys 3 years older than him, they're still not physically close to him. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on next year in Gonzaga. But one thing is for sure, that you guys may not hear about this guy. Unless you're focusing on World Cups, African Championships, you will not hear about this guy until he kits up for Gonzaga next year. And I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be one of the most exciting players in college basketball next year, and someone who you need to keep an eye out on next summer. You're not going to hear much about him between now and the summer, but if you guys like knowing about prospects before anyone else, he's a guy you really need to keep an eye on next summer, because he will dominate every international competition. But anyway, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. It's good to be back, lads. Please like, comment, and subscribe.